Hey, what's going on, folks? Blitzball Champs back here with another video here on the U to the Tube, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. I wanted to just make a quick video, uh, giving my thoughts on the recent buzz about the NFL overtime rules. I know there's been a lot of folks talking about how the rules should be changed after what took place this past weekend, between the Bills and the Chiefs, and just in general that I feel like the overtime rules in the NFL need to change. So just to give a quick recap of how the rules work, it's pretty much sudden death in overtime in the NFL. There's a coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss can choose to, kick off or receive, just like in the opening. Uh, Whoever's on offense first, if they score a touchdown, game over. They win. If they score a field goal, then the opposing team will get a possession, and they either have to match it with a field goal of their own, or they can seal the deal with the win if they score a touchdown. And of course, if the team that starts out on offense, if they say throw an interception or fumble and the defense recovers, and then they either score on that play a defensive touchdown, that other team would win, or their offense comes out and they score a touchdown, then a touchdown or a field goal in that scenario, and then that team wins. Now, the main argument that a lot of folks are saying, from what I've been hearing, is two things. One, let the overtime quarter play out to completion, and just whoever the final score is at the end of that round wins, or at the end of that overtime quarter wins. Or secondly, even if a touchdown is scored first, both teams get at least 1% possession to at least score a field goal. Personally, I don't think the rules should change at all. I think the rules are fine just the way that they are. Look, what's the overall objective of the game? Is to play complete football on offense, defense, special teams. Score as many points as you can. The team with the most points wins. Now, each side, each part of the team has their own job. You have offense, defense, special teams. And when they do their jobs, they win. 9 times out of 10, they win. Now, I know a lot of people want to say that, oh, the team that wins the coin toss in overtime and elects to receive 60-70% of the time ends up winning. And maybe on paper, maybe that's true. Or at least they have, the better chance, being that they go first on offense, to run down and score a touchdown and end the game. But just because that's the case doesn't mean that the other team just doesn't play defense. You still got to play defense. Regardless of the situation, you still got to play defense, because it all goes back to playing complete football on each side of the ball. And then you have to also think, if a team was doing their job on offense, defense, special teams throughout the game, then there wouldn't even be an overtime. There wouldn't be an overtime. A lot of folks want to say, oh, because it's overtime, both teams should get a possession. Well, if one team or the other, were doing their job, playing complete football, offense, defense, special teams, and they were on point, then it shouldn't even come down to an overtime. You know, when it comes down to games won by a field goal, I mean, I understand the kicker has to come in and try to win the game. With that, there's many times where it has to come down to that. I get it. But, before that moment, if a team was, doing their part, not turning over the ball, scoring as many drives as they can, playing defense, then it wouldn't have to come down to that. Right? I mean, when you think about it, it wouldn't have to come down to that. You know how a lot of folks like to talk about garbage points? A team is up 40 to zip or 40 to 7. And, the opposing team, the losing team, doesn't start getting touchdowns until near the end of the game. I mean, that's why they're called garbage points. Because the fact of the matter is, if they had been doing that earlier, when they had a lot more time, then it wouldn't even come to that. It wouldn't be garbage points. See what I mean? I'm a Carolina Panther fan, and I know when we last went to the Super Bowl, we lost to the Broncos of Super Bowl 50. I know a lot of folks want to talk crap about the fumble that Cam Newton didn't jump on, which was late in the game, by the way. Well, what about what led to the fumble in the first place? Strip sack, which happened a few times, at least twice in that game. But it's Cam's fault. Well, maybe if the offensive line did their part in protecting him and not allowing anybody, Von Miller, to get into the backfield to cause the fumble, then it wouldn't even be an issue. But nobody wants to talk about that. They just want to talk about how he didn't jump on the fumble. What about everything leading up to that? What about what led to that happening in the first place? You know what I mean? It's like, when it comes down to it, the whole objective isn't to force overtime and then get the win. You play complete game of football on offense, defense, and special teams. You know why you do that? Because that's going to give you the best possible opportunity to win. That's going to increase your chances to the max to win. If you play great football on all three sides, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So when it comes to overtime, I mean, if you got to play defense first, I mean, you still got to do your job. I understand it's late in the game, but it's still up to the defense to get a stop. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's why it's called sudden death. Because if the defense can't get a stop and the other team scores, then, I mean, don't you think they deserve to win the game then? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not against, competitiveness. I'm not against that. But at the same time, if you're the one playing the game, I would think the whole idea, the whole objective is to do what you can to win the game. Is to try to win the game. So, those are my thoughts. But do I feel like the overtime rules should change? No. I think they're fine just the way they are. Because like I said, even going into overtime, even if you win the coin toss and elect to receive, that doesn't guarantee you the win. You still got to go out there and score. But, if you can't score, or if the defense gets a turnover or the defense forces a 3-and-out, then, all it's going to do is give that team an opportunity. They pretty much take the opportunity to put the ball in the hands of the offense so that they can finish the job. It kind of reminds me of the movie Little Giants with Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis, where they had the Little League Pee Wee football. It was the Giants versus the Cowboys. It was Rick Moranis and the Little Giants against Ed O'Neill and his Cowboys. And they had the coin toss where Ed O'Neill called it, and Rick Moranis was like, wait a minute, how come he gets to call it? And he's like, what does it matter? We kick off, we take the ball from you, then ram it down your throat. Y'all kick off, we ram the ball down your throat. It's the same concept. You start off on offense, you ram the ball down the opposing team's throat. If you start off on defense, you take the ball away, and then you ram it down the team's throat. It's pretty much the same concept. Whether it's during regulation or during overtime. It doesn't really change. The only difference is that overtime, it's sudden death, which is how it's supposed to be. Now, personally, I'm also not a fan of, games ending in a tie. But, the rules are the way they are for a reason, and I really don't feel like they should change. Just to, give both teams a chance. Nah. If you lose the coin toss, you got to go out on defense. You play defense and you create a chance and put the ball into the hands of the offense. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's for any team, regardless of if they win or lose the coin toss. They're supposed to create the opportunity for their team to get into position to win the game. That objective doesn't change, regardless of whether it's in regulation or in overtime. So personally, I really don't think the rules should change. I think the rules should stay the same. I don't see anything wrong with the rules as they are now. So, those are my thoughts. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. I'm curious to know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the rules should change? Do you think the rules are fine the way they are? Do you think both teams deserve a possession regardless of if the first team scores a field goal or not? Or, a field goal or a touchdown. Because they already have it to where if first possession they score a field goal, then the other team does get an opportunity. But I know many feel that even if they score a touchdown, the other team should get an opportunity. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know what y'all think. I would love to know. And like I said, break it down, what you feel. And if not necessarily that particular style, what do you think specifically you would change about overtime? It doesn't have to necessarily be that, but what would you change as far as overtime specifically? But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can catch every video. And thank you so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off for this video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. Hope everybody has a blessed day tomorrow, and I will see y'all soon. Peace.